Udrea Utsurarea Kirea Jiba.
What's up, slime balls? This is Smank. Welcome back to another video where my avatar's lips barely move. Today I'm going to be reviewing Madame Web, aka Marvel's biggest super stinker since Morbius. I watched Madame Web not too long ago with my dad, and it is just as bad as everybody else is saying it is. And that's saying a lot since the first movie I saw this year was Night Swim, which is also fucking horrendous, but I'm not going to be talking about Night Swim, I'm going to be talking about Madame Web today. Ironically, my biggest problem with the movie is something that not a lot of other movies struggle with, and that's the cinematography. The cinematography in Madame Web is absolutely abhorrent. It is so bad, especially towards the beginning and the end. In the beginning, there's so many fucking Dutch angles and tilts that it made me want to vomit. There's this one shot, spoiler alert, like you care. There's one shot in the beginning of the movie after the villain shoots Madame Web's mother, Cassandra Webb's mother, and this like spider guy, I forgot what they were called in the movie, but he saves her and he climbs up this tree and he like jumps across the branches, and the shot starts out zoomed in on his feet, then it zooms out, and then it pans to the right as he jumps past the camera, and then it goes sideways. The camera tilts sideways, and this shot's like 3 seconds long, and it is absolutely nauseating. They not only play this shot in the beginning of the movie, but at around the end of the movie, there's this flashback segment where we see this shot again, and dear God, it made me want to vomit. Out of the entire movie, and its 1 hour and 54-minute runtime, I thought there were only 2 shots that were good. There was one after the main character, Cassandra, crashes into a building with a taxi, and there's glass from the building's window on the hood of the car, and she backs out of the like parking lot and turns, and the hood of the car is facing the camera, and the glass slides off the hood, and it looks cool, and then she drives away. That's like one of the 2 good shots in this movie. The other shot is where the main bad guy, Ezekiel, the evil spider, they call him ceiling guy, he jumps and a firework goes off behind him and it looks cool. Those are the only things I liked about the entire movie. The rest of it was absolutely fucking abominable. The terrible dialogue and terrible acting fused together in this beautiful movie to create a beautiful amalgamation of shit, and let me tell you, it's hilariously bad. So the film starts off with Cassandra's mother and Ezekiel in the Amazon rainforest looking for this super spider, and oh my God, it's so fucking bad. And Ezekiel drops an absolute banger of a line. His very first line in the movie is something like, "I agreed to be your bodyguard because I thought you were close to finding the spider that'll give us superhuman abilities," or some shit. And it's so fucking bad. Cassandra's mom just fucking interrupts in mid-sentence and says some shit like, yeah, it's so hard to catch this spider because it's so elusive because its venom can fucking give people superhuman abilities or some shit. And then she just fucking grunts like, oh! Like right in the next shot. She didn't stop talking in the last take, so they just cut her off in post. It's so bad. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Oh! But there's a reason behind this grunt. It's revealed that she's pregnant. Hooray. And yeah, when she finally finds the spider, she gets back to like the people she's working with, and she's like, guys, I found it. I found the CGI spider, and it's the spider, and it looks like shit. And then Ezekiel shoots the 2 guys looking at it, and snatches the the spider jar from Madam Web's mom, and they have a tussle, and he shoots her, and then the super spider people from the forest, they jump down from the trees, and they save Madam Web's mom and bring her to a cave where she gives birth to Madam Web. And yeah, that's the opening scene. It's fucking horrible. Oh my god. I'm not gonna get too deep into this movie, but basically it fast forwards to when Madam Web is an adult, Cassandra Webb, I think that's her name. She's a paramedic, and there's these three teenage girls that she has to save because Ezekiel's hunting them because he has a nightmare about them becoming superheroes and killing him. And he fucking falls out of a window, and it's a really stupid shot, and he's screaming, and it's funny as fuck, and he's like, "Ah!" And it's like, it's Cassandra, she's encountered these girls before. One of them she saw at the hospital, another lives in her building, and the third she almost hit with her ambulance. I'm not making this shit up. It's so fucking stupid. And she has these premonitions of the future, like spider sense or some shit, but it's like really confusing because it's portrayed so fucking poorly. Oh my god. I'm not even gonna try to discuss those scenes. They're so fucking bad. They're that bad. Oh my god. And like the first time we see it, she's saving someone from this car that's about to fall off this bridge. And she's in the car. She saves the guy in the car. He gets out of there, but she's trapped. She's in the car. It falls in the water, and she like dies. And it's like this big CGI mess on screen where she's like in this like spider web world, and there's like this stringy shit that's all floating around, and it looks terrible. And it goes on for like a minute, and the camera's like spinning around, and it's this one long shot, and it's nauseating. It's fucking bad. Oh my god, it's bad. When Cassandra fucking saves these girls from evil ceiling spider guy Ezekiel, which nobody else fucking sees for some reason, people start to think that she's kidnapping these girls. So not only is Ezekiel after her, but the fucking cops are after her too. And it's completely resolved by the end of the by the end of the fucking movie. The cops are out of the question now. Nobody's like they're not a problem anymore. Oh, it's so fucking stupid. And these three teenage girls are like the most generic fucking characters of all time. The most personality all of them have is that one of them skateboards. That's it. That's literally all three of their characters. Just one of them skateboards. And I can't name anything else that really makes them stand out as characters. They're that generic. Despite Cassandra being a paramedic, she does all she can to not save these girls. She just wants to drop them off to their parents, despite the fact that they're literally being hunted by a fucking supervillain. There's like a whole buttload of parts in the movie where she just leaves these girls alone to be killed by Ezekiel. But then she has like a shitty premonition, and she gets there just in time to save them, and it's stupid, and they do it like 2 times, 3 times in the movie, and it's repetitive and boring. Let me talk about the ending. The ending is so fucking bad. She fucking goes to Peru in one part of the movie. She flies to Peru for like this 5-minute fucking scene where she meets this guy in this cave where her mother gave birth to her, and he's like, you can be in multiple places at the same time, and it's really fucking stupid, and she has this flashback segment. It's so fucking dumb. Oh my god, it's so fucking stupid. And then she flies back from Peru. Oh my god. And then Madam Web and the girls, they go to this warehouse with explosives in it for some godforsaken reason. I think it's like propane or some shit. I don't know if they clarified it in the movie or if I was just zoned out and dazed because of how bad the movie was beforehand, but they get these flares, and when they lure Ezekiel into this building, they wedge him in between crates and shit, and it causes like fireworks to go off and shit. And then they get to the top of the building, and and they fight on this like billboard sign for Pepsi. And then there's this like really funny part in the middle of the fight where Ezekiel's mask just disappears, so now he's just unmasked. And Ezekiel beats the shit out of the teenage girls, and they're like hanging off of different parts of the building and the sign and shit, and they're like holding on for dear life. And they do that stupid trope where the villain can kill the hero at any time, but he just talks instead. He just has this monologue, and he's like, now the girls won't kill me because I will kill them first, because the premonitions about them or whatever, the premonition I had, the prophecy. And then fucking Madam Web's like, no, it wasn't about them. Your nightmare, your prophecy, your premonition was about me. And then like 3 different spirit versions of Madam Web just appear. They pop out of her asshole, and they save the teenage girls. And then the sign falls while both of them are on it, and Ezekiel dies, and Madam Web falls into the water. When she goes blind because something hits her in the face, one of the firework flare things hits her in the face. And then she just fucking becomes blind Professor X. It's so fucking stupid! I didn't watch the post-credits scene. I don't give a shit. I had enough of the movie when the credits started rolling. And yeah, it fucking ends with her being all like, my eyesight's better than ever because she can see the future and shit. And there's like this one part where she says bless you before one of the girls sneezes, like, oh my god, it's so quirky. On Smack's scale of sexiness, I'm going to give Madam Web a 1 out of 10, which is the lowest rating I've given to a movie so far, beaten by Velma, which is still crowned the worst piece of media that I've ever reviewed. However, Madam Web is second place. There is nothing about this movie that I liked other than 2 shots. So don't watch this piece of shit movie ever. It's terrible. So yeah, that's about it, slimes.